Hi everyone, welcome again to another segment of Inclusive Reflections. I'm your host Teresami, and we appreciate you so much for your continued support. We could not have done it without you, so feel appreciated. And if you have not subscribed, please, we urge you to subscribe so that you don't miss out on our content. And if you have, feel so much appreciated from our desk. Today is an amazing day. I promised you that I'll be bringing you guests that have stories to tell, and today we have an amazing lady who has become a friend on board, and I want her to tell us what she does. She has an amazing calling in the children ministry. She is a storyteller. I know you're wondering what that is all about, but I want her to introduce herself, and so that we can start with her story, for her to tell us why she's passionate about storytelling, why to the children, why the teen talks. And I believe at the end of this conversation, we are going to be able to understand better the impact storytelling has in our daily life. So without further ado, help me to welcome this amazing lady on board. Hi, Vena.
Hi.
Long time.
Fireworks.
Karibu sana.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
It's fun. I think this is the first time that I have done a podcast.
Oh my God. Thank you for choosing Inclusive Reflections.
Thank you.
Please say hi to our viewers. Let them get to know who is Vena.
Yes. Hi. First of all, thank you for coming to the channel to watch.
Yep.
I'm happy to share my journey. My name is Vena Btwn. I am an artist, a multidisciplinary artist. So I practice many arts. I am a photographer.
Yeah.
I take pictures. I mostly take like exhibition photography. So I have a concept, I take pictures, and then I have an exhibition, and we call a few people and we share stories, and we talk about the pictures and the stories that they tell.
Yeah.
So for example, like in 2022, my last exhibition, I had like a portrait of African leaders kind of exhibition.
Yeah.
So because it was a leadership year, people were talking about leadership, and like a lot of kids, like they have grown up hearing stories about, African leaders are corrupt, African leaders are, and that might be true in politics, but it's not true in general. Like a country like Kenya, like tumeendelea sana over, like we live like a country that has been in existence or free for hundreds of years. I guess we're not even 100 years
I know.
out of freedom, So like, and all of this is because we have amazing African Kenyan leaders. Then, I did this exhibition where I was telling the stories of African leaders that inspire me, and sharing this with a group of teenagers and kids, just to kind of like try and change their mind, and be like, no, Africans make good leaders, because the reverse of the negative stories we tell our children is that if you tell like your daughter, you tell her African women are ... fill in the blank, you might think that you're doing commentary, but she's an African woman. So technically you're telling her you should grow up to be this one, So when you say African leaders are corrupt, you're telling these children that when you grow up and become a leader, you're have leeway
to become
corrupt, because this is
the trend.
African leaders are greedy, African leaders are rough, and then technically you're giving these young people like, you're nudging them towards corrupt, greedy, like violent leadership, because you're telling them this is who we have always been, so then there's no point of changing. And yet, as much as that's the loudest narrative, it's not true. So just kind of I took pictures around that. I think I'll attach some of those pictures.
No problem. So that means you took the photos, you are in a position whereby you use your photography to change the narrative that has been existing. About now, the photo for the African leaders was to change the narrative of what people think or what we have been saying.
And it really, like, one of the people I highlighted was actually a community leader from Kibera. The youth I was working with from Kibera. So like, it was somebody who was changing the lives of young people caught up in crime inside Kibera. And somebody who's been able to help. At the time, it was like 24 young people to leave gangs,
Wow.
live like a good life. You
I know.
So then you're telling people, yeah, well, Ruto might be corrupt, but doesn't mean that
every other person that is in leadership is corrupt.
You know?
I agree with you.
And that is leadership.
Yeah.
So and talking about the stories of Akina Mekatilili Wamenza, who are great leaders, who without them we wouldn't be free here.
I know.
And like telling so many of those stories. So yeah, it was like a portrait of African leaders. It was called Who Am I? Heroes Edition.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of
the photography that you do.
That I love doing.
Yes, I've seen them and they're beautiful, some of them.
Thank you. I still do like the event photography or whatever when I'm broke. But it's not where I like. But yeah, that's part of photography that I do.
Yeah.
I also write and tell stories.
Yeah, that is what I know. Please tell us more about that.
For different age groups. It's sort of centered around the same thing, you know. I think I grew up in Kibera.
Oh, okay.
And, from the time when we were kids, and I think this is something a lot of millennials can relate to. We grew up at a time where, like, our parents really idolized Western culture, Western people.
True.
So we grew up thinking we are second class in many, many ways.
That is very true.
And I think it still happens to a lesser degree with Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, but for us it was we were clearly told white people were better than us.
I agree.
And then every hero you saw on TV was white.
White, yeah.
Every innovator you saw was white. Every good leader that you saw was white. Every beautiful person was white.
Has to be a white person.
Like, there was the long hair, the slimness. Like, it was very Eurocentric, So the picture that we painted of like an ideal, because kids want to be good by nature.
I know.
So when you look at who do I want to be when I grow up, you look at who you think is a good person. So we grew up wanting to be what we could never be, because we can never be white.
The white.
You know?
True.
Yeah, and I think that I like the more I grew up and I'm becoming an adult and becoming so aware of how you act around people, because and it's not just even white people. You end up because race is not the only way that we classify ourselves.
True.
We classify ourselves in form of gender. We classify ourselves in form of wealth. And because that was ingrained that there is classes, like some level of classes in life and hierarchies in life, you start to discount yourself. You're like, okay, I am not white, so I am less than. I am not a woman, so I am less than a man. I am
not wealthy,
from Kibera, so I am less than the Lavington person. So you just keep discounting yourself. And by default, then you start limiting yourself. You limit your potential. You limit your experiences in life. You limit everything. So then I felt very strongly about sharing a counter narrative with children. And this really started as I loved reading as a child. I read quite a bit, and I read a lot of African literature, mostly from Nigeria, because all good literature in Africa started from Nigeria. If we're being honest, but there's quite a number of Kenyan writers as well that were good, but they were mostly freedom, Nini's freedom stories, the Ngugi.
I know.
Nowadays, I'm happy that a lot of Kenyans are
coming up.
We have so many varieties of stories. So for me, it started as a book club, actually. So when I got my first job out of campus, I would take a percentage of my salary, go and buy books, and then go to schools in Kibera and have book clubs where the kids could get to read the books, because most schools in Kibera don't have libraries. And if they do, the books are so old. The kids would love reading all this African literature, and it was very exciting sessions, And then after that, I started by donating the books to the schools, and then kidogo it became a mobile library project. So then the same books would travel through 5 schools.
Once they are once you take them to this school and they finish, they would borrow them to another school, and then they are done. So it became a kasako thing.
So kumbuka, I was buying these things every month. So
wait a minute. You are using your salary to buy books for the kids.
So, because I grew up there, and I feel very passionate about I don't know. It was something I just wanted to share. So like I went to Toy Primary. So one of the book clubs I was running was Toy Primary.
Okay.
So I would buy books and then take them to Toy Primary. And then when the Toy Primary kids are done with this book, then I take it to
another school.
And then Toy Primary kids get the second book.
Okay.
And so these books are kind of, so it was like a mobile library project kind of thing. At least that's how I called it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I quit my job then to get into the NGO space and now established a library, an actual library inside of Kibera. So it was really around books, Ivo.
Yeah.
And I had started writing as in campus, but I forgot about it. So nikaanza kuandika pole pole. And then now with these stories that I was writing, I started to realize like there's a strength in writing characters that are not only African, but mtoto anasoma story yenye anaona Ngong Road.
Okay. Because that is you custom made them to fit the society that you were taking the books to.
Exactly. So now you're writing a story about a child who comes from the same background as the children who are reading this book.
Okay.
You're writing stories about people who have the same experiences as
like the one they go through every day.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then now the thing about those stories is they kind of give them like practical lessons on values. It paints pictures of role models.
Okay.
They find characters that they admire and then by extension see themselves in those characters.
Yeah.
So there's the entertaining bit. Like we all love a good story at the end of a day, you know. But then above and beyond that, like, you can teach kids how to deal with fear. You can teach kids how to deal with low self-esteem. You can teach kids how to ask questions. You can teach them about values, how to be respectful and things like that. You know, you can teach them about, I don't know if I want to say religious values, because sometimes when you say religious, things get misconstrued. But such things as faith. You know, faith is the same whether you're Christian, Muslim.
I agree with you. I think we had that discussion with you the other day and we were talking about how we grew in our various faith, but it is all the same. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
The application is just the same. Whether you are Muslim, whether you are Christian, I want to believe it's all the same.
Yes. So then like you can teach such lessons. You know, you can teach about forgiveness because that technically is a religious value because we learn it in church.
I know.
But it is just a good value for human beings. And you know, whether you believe in Buddha or you know,
Muhammad
or
Jesus,
you know, or Jesus,
I know,
or the universe, as people do.
There are people that believe in the universe.
Yeah,
really.
Yes, but either way, so then you put these ideals in stories and in characters that they can constantly relate with.
Yeah.
So a lot of this I started just like as a fun thing to do. You know.
Okay.
And different stories. I have stories for children and I have stories for teenagers.
Okay.
Because you know the way you write for those two age groups.
You cannot be able to. It can't be the same. I've been a Sunday school teacher for so many years. I can tell you the way I prepared a lesson for 10 years. Like, is it 10? I think we used to group them around 7 years and below, and around 8 years and above. It can't be the same.
It cannot be the same at all. Yeah. So I can write the same characters, but write them very differently depending on who is reading the book. So and to be fair, a lot of parents enjoy my stories as well. The thing is, they really enjoy, because the thing about my the stories that the way I have seen people interact with my stories, it's like a chance for you to hang out with your kid. You know, like a lot of times parents will read like the latest book that I have written, The Rise of Hekaya.
And you don't have one. Oh my God, too bad. All right, we will put one for you guys.
Yes. So it's like an African superhero kind of book, and it's like talking about the heroes like Luanda Magere, Mekatilili, and Koitalel, but then it's like telling the story from the perspective of these young kids who have inherited those powers that those legends had, and they're using it to fight like this one is climate change. So it's like there's a wind monster and a water monster. And it's a fun kind of interaction with the story. And like the parents are as amazed as the kids, and then they discuss it with their kids and they laugh together with the kids. And so technically my target audience is children, but parents have a great time.
I actually feel like your storytelling is bringing us to a place whereby automatically a parent feels the need to be the person that is reading that story to the child, and then it's bringing us. I remember there is a day I hosted a counseling psychologist at the beginning of the holiday, and we were discussing about parents, how do you spend this holiday with your children?
Yes.
And I think your storytelling strategy is something that is going to incorporate everyone, because again, this can be a session whereby everyone is just seated in the sitting room, and we're having a conversation, and we're like, by the way, we have a book that we have not read. And that will like bring a cohesion even amongst the family members, and they will like converse. Because I feel like as teens grow, particularly the teenagers, as they grow, there is this disparity that grows between them and the parent. I am growing, the parent don't have time for me, so like I have to like figure this thing that is called growing up on my own. But we also want you to touch on the next, as you move on, you tell us, how do you tailor make your stories to connect with the teens? Because honestly speaking, for the children it can be easy, but how do you connect with that teen,
with the teenager?
Remembering we are in an era whereby TikTok, Instagram, everything is the talk of the day. But now you're taking us back to the books.
Well, here's the thing. Every human being has a need.
That is very true.
You understand? So the thing about like social media, when teenagers interact with it, is they're looking for something.
I agree.
But the thing that social media gives them is just a dopamine rush, you know, because they go to TikTok and those other places, they're looking for community, you know. Like I want to see, like, me, I like my hair like this. Does everyone else like the hair like that? You know, me, I like to dress like this. Does everyone? How else is everyone dressing? Like, am I with the people? Am I different?
Am I trending? Am I trending with my fashion?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to be the odd one out.
Even me, I want to stand out.
True. So with the teenagers, the need of belonging.
Exactly. So now here's the thing. Once you understand what they're looking for, because social media technically it doesn't give them any of that.
That is true.
You know,
I think
it just gives them a temporary dopamine rush.
Kadogo sana.
You know, and that's why you have to keep going back for it.
Okay.
You know, because you're like, oh, everyone's doing this TikTok challenge, let me do it as well. You know. But then 5 minutes after that joy you felt doing that TikTok energy, it's gone. So now you have to go and look for it again. You know. So I think that when you notice that need for, and then the biggest, let me just veer kidogo. The biggest thing that teenagers look for is they're trying to understand themselves. You know.
That is true.
And the more they can see a reflection that is familiar to them, then they find that sense of belonging that they're looking for. You know. So I can give an example, like before social media, the way us guys, because when we were teenagers, social media was not.
It wasn't there.
You know, and so then the thing is, you would look to your aunties, to the people in the church who dressed the best, and things like that.
The teachers, maybe.
Exactly. So you're looking at a reflection of me. I don't relate with this one, but I see my reflection in this
particular one.
Like, I relate with the dressing in this teacher. I relate with the language that this teacher is using. I relate with this
style.
You know, and that kind of helps me as a teenager shape who I am. You know, and you know the thing about it is like. Children are a product of not only their parents, they're a product of the community as well, you know.
True.
So this reflection that they're looking for to as they create themselves, the parents are not enough for that, you know. Because
they need to interact, they
need more
to try more things than their parents. They feel like they are a little bit limited.
Exactly.
Even I think to some point the teenagers feel like, you guys don't understand these things.
Exactly. So now this is the beauty of storytelling, because you can create as many characters
as possible.
Wow. That give them options of, this is how character A deals with fear. This is how character B deals with fear. This is how character S deals with fear. So out of 5, 6, 7, 20 characters, they will find one that they can relate with, and one that is a healthy way.
Okay.
You know, so then the more stories you read with your child, and it doesn't even have to be reading, it can be watching, like it could be films, it could be inaitwaje, it could be films, it could be books, it could be songs, it could be so many, and that's why art is such a popular thing, you know. So like this is how, like, characters are how people, like, you look for yourself in many different characters. So if you have stories and stuff, then you look for it in characters. If you don't have that, you look for it in people, you know. And this is why social media influencers are becoming very popular. Because somebody's looking, like, a lot of people are looking for reflections of who they are and who they relate with the most.
So we will follow you because we are looking like we want.
I like the way you dress. I feel like I can dress like you. You know, I like the way you talk. I feel like I can talk like you. I like the way you express yourself. I wish I could express myself
the same way
you express yourself. You know, I like the way you walk. I like the risks that you take in life. I like your business decisions. I like your I feel like I am a very boring person on social media, so I'm only talking about business and whatever. But people, like, I like your jokes, I like whatever, you know. So yeah, I think that the beauty of being able to write characters is it helps. It creates an environment where, like, kids can control, can find themselves in this character, and it is informed. My stories are informed by people's lives. Like, yes, I write them from my head, but usually it comes from conversations like this. So for example, you share a story with me about, like, your experience as a teenager, or your experience at a trip where you took a risk or something of the sort, you know, and all that information now informs the characters. One, to make sure that it is authentic African experiences, so that, like, when they relate, like, when this character experiences a challenge, it is a challenge that, because you experienced it, there's a high chance this teenager who's reading that story
has gone through the same,
you know, or will experience it at some point. And when they experience it, they'll be like, I know what this is.
I know.
You know.
So, take us through and tell us about a moment whereby your storytelling helped someone through something. Because before we bring our discussion to the teenage environment, how you've been able to capture them, what would you say? There's this particular time maybe that you did a story, customized, tailor-made it, the characters, and it brought a kid or a teenage out of somewhere dark, or even your photography, because I know even photos speak.
Okay, so the two are different. Actually, that's a good thing, because I'll tell you the two different ways. I remember the first time that I did a teen talk session. So I was working in Kibera. This was 2020. So lockdown has happened. And then the rate of GBV cases just they shoot up, you know. And then you can imagine, like, if you're a girl in Kibera and you're going to school and you get pads from school sometimes, or you get, like, in the school setup, that's where you get sanitary towels. You eat lunch from school. And then sometimes, and you know, at home sometimes your meal then becomes once a day, because your parent knows you already had lunch at school. So it's either lunch and supper, or breakfast and lunch, and then you skip there. And now the lockdown has happened. That lunch at school is no longer an option. You don't have sanitary towels. You don't have don't have a social life. You know? And as a teenager, a social life is such a need. Achana not grown-ups, you know, as we can control. For them, it's like they will cry because they don't have friends.
I've seen that happen.
You know, I've seen that happen. I only have 3 friends, and so you're an adult. You're like, hey, 3 is a lot. 3 people, you know. But so it was like 2020. That was the picture. A lot of these young people, and this made them very vulnerable to abuse. Because, you know, abuse before it gets to sexual abuse or physical abuse, it's usually psychological or economic. You know. So, for example, in Italy, your parents are like, you're broke. It is what it is. It's 2020. It's a rough time. You know. So I can't afford lunch, but you're hungry. So now, if this Kabunda guy gives you a 50 bob,
you're willing to, like,
you know, it has come exactly. It has that time of the month has reached,
and there is nothing.
And alafu unajua, like, it's the emotions that you feel around that time. They make you vulnerable. So this person offers you like a 50 bob, like a 100 bob. You can buy your pads.
I know.
You start to feel like you owe them something. Sindio? Now when you feel like you owe them something, you know that you should protect yourself, but you don't protect yourself. You don't feel like you have a voice in front of this person, you know. And now that really contributed to a lot of GBV cases that I interacted with around that time. You know? And I think when I talk about the straw that broke the camel's back or the donkey's back, someone's back was broken at some point. One kid that I had interacted with when they were really young, met them and they were pregnant and they were 13 years old. And I was just like, who sees a 13-year-old?
I know.
You know, and I know. And like, and it pained me. Like kabisa. I was like, if I meet this person, I'll probably choke them. Like I'll do my years in Nagata. You know, I don't like prison, but I'll do it. You know, because why? A 13-year-old inauma. You know. So what happened was I realized that these two teenage girls, they don't understand how to protect themselves around GBV. A lot of them only defined rape as the one where you are walking at night and somebody attacks you. You know, I think there are some people. There are some people who define a rape as such even to date. Exactly. Yeah. So that is the only one that they associated to wrongness. You know, these are the other ones. They were like, but si hata ulichukua hiyo do. And you're like, no. You're 14, you're 15, you're 16. This is a grown man. Yeah. So you're 15 and this is a grown man. They really should know better. And this is economic abuse. They didn't understand that. They didn't understand the concept of psychological abuse. They didn't understand the concept of economic abuse. You know, and with the sexual abuse, they only thought of it as the violent, the rape by a stranger. You know, when you're forced, quote unquote. You know, and the physical abuse. There were misconceptions around that. You know, and I felt like if you don't know what you're vulnerable to, you cannot protect yourself. I agree with you. You know? So I thought, how do I talk to these people? And it was not only girls I was dealing with, by the way, it was also boys. And you realize that they were vulnerable to different things, but they also did not understand these other aspects, you know. So now what I started to do, I thought, do I sit them down and talk to them? And I'm like, even me when I was writing, I wanted to do that. When I was writing the notes, I was like, but I feel come a class, sijui watangoja exam after. And then at some point, I remembered, I know how to write. And it had been a while since I wrote anything. So what I wrote was, I started writing a series with a character. You know? I remember I called her Masha Mapenzi. I don't know where that name came from, you know. But I wrote the story about this lady who, she was coming from the rural areas and I came to Nairobi with the promise of being educated, but she was never educated. But she was used kukua boch, you know, and being sexually assaulted, but with manipulation. With manipulation, like I'm providing for you a stay for. And you know, we started, and like I started, and she was not the only character. There were many characters. You know? So and like I made her a very dramatic character for the dramatic effect. But then she interacted with a lot of ladies as well. You know? So for her, she grew with the bitterness of, you know, she was a very hopeful person, and this all of a sudden, So like just painting a picture of what happens on the extreme side of abuse, because what abuse does is that it creates monsters. You know, so I painted her as the result of abuse, the monster that it will create. And then she was interacting with other characters as well. And so we will read these stories and then and have conversations like, oh, what do you think? And they will discuss those stories. And this inaitwa kutoka ushago alikuja akaishi Kibera, according to the story, and these kids were from Kibera. So every experience that this character was going through were either things that they have seen, or they have experienced, or things that they have seen other people go through. So then the engagement ilitoka chini ikakuja very high. So then now they start to understand that if I have a problem, if I don't have pads, for example, I don't have to take money from a random boda guy. There are organizations who are mandated, like for example, our organization, I used to fundraise for pads every month, and I would tell them, there's no way a guy would come to me and say, I don't have pads, it is what it is. You know,
I know.
I'm like, I can fundraise. Even hata hizi zenye nimefundraise zikiisha, nitatafuta zingine. You know, and there are many organizations like that, you know. So just telling them, like, from the other side, you also need to be aware that there is no shame in asking for help. In walking to a woman and telling this woman, it is this time of the month, and I really, you know, I don't have any way, whether it is your teacher, whether it is your Sunday school teacher, whether it is whether it is Mama wa Jumuiya, like there are people around you
and willing to listen as long as you're willing to share.
Exactly, because if a teenage girl walks up to you and tells you, I am hungry. You will not tell them life is what it is, you know. So like we started having these discussions because of the experiences of these characters, you know. And the result of that is this girl started standing up for themselves. When they were catcalled, they would walk in groups, they would walk in certain directions, they would not, like they started understanding that if this person is trying to force me towards this, I can report them to the police. I have this organization that I can talk to. I have my parents that I can talk to help. So they were very aware of what already exists. As much as a country, we are not in an ideal place of structures to protect kids. They were very aware of what already exists to protect them and how they can access those places, you know. And I felt like the result of that was a lot of young people when they escaped that early pregnancy
through those stories.
Yes. And the other thing is a number of them that I can't share the specifics of the story because of privacy, but in it, a number of them who are going through things felt comfortable enough to come in to share for help. You know, and it was help that even if me I can't offer, because I'm not, for example, a counselor. Me, if you tell me that you're having a PTSD because of a GBV issue, honestly, there's nothing I can tell you to help you, Cindy. But I can help you find a counselor who's doing that pro bono, you know. And so the result is a few of them came out and asked for help, and I was able to refer them to people who were able to help them at no cost. You know. So so I think that is one example, like a radical example of how like
the storytelling
helps, you know. But for the most part in Akwanga, you're just seeing a reflection of yourself. You know? Photography, the photography series I was doing was called Who Am I? And it was just like in it, you know, like when you grow up in some certain place, Wakenya tunakuwaga wajinga, Wakenya tunakuwaga wale. So you're like, instead of all those negative things, we ask ourselves, who did I we? When you ask, let us who are we as Kenyans? I know. Yes, what I said is but after some time they'll tell you we are very resourceful. You know, we are very bright, we are very this, we are very this. So then I was challenging a few of the so this was not only photography that I was doing. I was teaching a group of 25 young adults photography. So now I was challenging them, let's think beyond the box. Who are we? And then let's look at those out of for those reflections in the community. So like, what careers are we doing? What inspire us? What change is being created? How does it inspire us? And whatever. And the result of this was the self-esteem. Our project.
You know, I feel like even as we are seated here, there are so many people that are not in a position to answer the question, who are you?
Very many people.
Yes, we are there. We are living. We're waking every day, going to big offices, coming home. We are fathers. We are mothers. But
you don't
deep inside, I think everyone feels like I need just to go in a certain corner and like ask myself, God, you know what? I just don't understand. That is a question that seems to be easy, but the moment someone asks, you know, there's a way someone can talk to you, and it's like deep at the same. It's easy. It sounds easy, but it is deep at the same time. So someone can, mtu ajawahi kuuliza swali uko zile za, by the way, mtu ameniuliza aje, lakini lakini kwake it was just something. So the question of who am I, because for me it's a question that makes you look back.
Yes.
Where am I coming from? Where am I?
Yes.
What defines me? What are my values?
Yes.
What do I live for?
Yes. And then, most of all, where am I going?
Where am I going?
It kind of helps you play all the three parts
together.
Like you can look back and understand who you are, where you come from, and what that makes you. You can reflect on the now, where you are at, and learn like acceptance and appreciation. And then it also kind of helps you like, what is my thing? What exactly, what direction do I want to go? Do I want to explore in life? You know? And the importance of like kids learning to understand who they are early is that it at least helps them not to jump in the hamster wheel of life. Like that's how I usually like to describe it. Have you ever seen like these people who keep hamsters as pets? Which I don't understand why anyone would keep a rat as a pet, but that's a story for another day. But like this thing, it just keeps running around the wheel. Keeps running. Is it running anywhere? No. Is it? So it eats and it runs and it eats and it runs and it eats and it runs and then eventually
that is out of the day
dies.
Yes.
You know, and unfortunately, that is how so many people live their lives. You know, you're just running towards. You just existing, and then one day you drop and you die. You know, and
so that's a tough way of describing it.
It really is.
But it's the reality. I know.
You know, it's a fact. And as an adult, it takes a lot of strength to stop. And ask yourself
that running, like,
hey, to just stop and
to put on a break, and you're like
that wheel, you know? And just be like, wait, where am I going to? Where am I running? What exactly do I want to achieve? What am I trying to achieve by all this?
I know.
And what will bring me joy? What will bring me satisfaction? What will bring me, you know?
You know, that as you continue that conversation, it brings me to a point whereby at the moment, the kind of society we live in, it's everybody is running to become someone else.
Yes.
We are busy competing. I'm running like to outdo your opinion of me, your perception of me. As in, I feel like even in our generation, we are running to change things that are not within our control.
Exactly. And that's the thing, and that's the beauty of understanding like who you are.
I know.
Because you understand, once you understand who you are, you know what is within your reach and what is beyond you.
True.
You know.
Yeah.
And like what you can only contribute to, and what, you know.
I know.
You kind of learn to you manage yourself. Choose. That's the word.
And
you learn how to manage yourself.
And to run your race.
Yes. Because you know, that thing that you're saying that you try to be someone else. So I find that very, very funny. But
it's very real.
It's very real.
When the social media and everybody is doing it.
You know, I find it funny because I am outdoing myself trying to be like you. Now, so you're on stress, you're trying to be like Jane.
Someone else
is trying her best to be like Florence. And then Florence is working so hard to be like that.
Yeah.
And this train is just, you know.
It's another roller coaster that is not coming to an end anytime soon. It's just another wheel.
Yeah, so I think, in Itwaje, like having those relaxed spaces where kids can start to learn. I keep using this word kids very widely. I mean both children and teenagers.
They are all kids, by the way,
But young people in general can start to learn these skills mapema.
Okay.
So that when they are adults, when they get into this hamster wheel, they can remember how to stop themselves and go back to who they are, what their dreams are, recreate themselves, you know, and not fall into that trap where, you know, you tell me about yourself, and beyond your name and what you do for a living and how many kids you have, you can't tell me anything else about yourself, you know.
I know.
And not because you don't want to, but genuinely you have lost perspective of who that is, you know, and like you lose a lot, like you in Itwaje, So and then the who am I was also just to kind of bring out that bit of we are innovators as Africans. We are like we like discovering things, people, you know. We are, and when you look at the picture that is painted in the media, it's easy to have a very bleak vision, you know. But when you look at the people around you, you will notice that Africans, Kenyans, whether you're Kikuyu or Luo, utakuja upate right down. Kikuyus are very resourceful. Luos are very creative and resourceful, and Maasais are very, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I love to tell stories that paint that picture.
Okay.
All the way down to, like, yes, paint the bigger picture of Africa,
But
paint Kenyan, and paint every different tribe within Kenya. You know? So then, like, within the stories, like, 1 week I will talk about a story from Nyanza, the next I will talk about a story from Isiolo, the next I will talk, and for me it's also really, really fun, because then if I want to tell a story from Isiolo, that probably means I'll try and find someone from Isiolo or read something from Isiolo. So then I also have the benefit of having such a rich experience of, like, Kenyans.
Let me ask you a question. People are struggling to connect with their children. As we said, what would be your advice to parents as we finish the session about teens, so that we get into a few other things as we come to the end of our show? What would be your advice to parents? What is the best way of them connected to their teens? Because I tend to feel like some of us, the millennials, we are coming to find ourselves way too late.
Yeah.
Because our parents were busy looking for money that was, I don't know even what to say about the economy when we were growing up.
Yeah.
But again, we do not have quite a relationship with our parents whereby, let me be very honest with you, I have a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And I sit down with my daughter and we talk.
Yeah.
Some of the things that I can talk to my daughter about, my parent could not. And I know she's just 6 and she'll ask questions. That is true. But this is the generation. That is what the generation is demanding.
Yeah.
If you want to be like ahead of them before they start getting information out there.
Yeah.
But to be honest, again, in the space of social media, where every other person wants to be in the social media. I've even seen all the people coming to TikTok na sleeping wakiwa, wanalala bado wakiwa TikTok live. Such kind of things are happening. But I'm looking forward at a place whereby we will be in a position for parents and teens to connect in a way. They don't need the validation that comes from the social media or from the world.
Okay.
So you being in the space of storytelling, what would be your advice to parents in the way of connection? Because I'll tell you the truth. A child that has a father or a mother who is a friend, it's very hard for them to be influenced by the world because they bring all their fears, they bring all their confidence, they bring all their success and their failures to the parents that are ready and willing to listen. That does not mean the parents are superpowers. That is not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is our children should feel safe in our own space first.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know that I have an answer to that.
Yeah.
How can parents connect to their kids? Because me, I'm a certified auntie.
Which one is that?
I don't have kids of my own. I just have worked with kids all for
all right. The reason as why I'm asking that, even as you explain the certified auntie part, it's because you have connected with them.
Kids,
several teens.
Yes.
As we finish the year part, you have connected with them so wholesomely that they are able to connect with you. What do you think a parent should do? What should we stop doing and should we start doing so that we don't lose them within that age of discovering themselves?
I think what I would say, I don't know that I have advice per se or I have a formula.
Yeah.
But what I would say is before you are somebody's child or somebody's mother, you're a human being.
That is true.
And there are human needs, So for example, me just being like, yo, good job. That's every human being. There's no one you can you can you do something nice and somebody who's a friend appreciates it or somebody whose opinion you value appreciates it. Hakuna mtu mwenye hata smile.
True.
Unashika?
I know.
But in the same way, if you do something very meaningful, and nobody notices, it breaks your heart. Kidogo tu.
I know.
Unaona. So at the end of the day, this acknowledgement. It's not even approval. It is acknowledgement. It's a human desire. Let me not call it a need. Let me call it a human desire. Sindio? And every human being, parent or child, has it. Sindio? Now, when this acknowledgement is not there, then approval becomes a desire. So at the end of the day, the thing is, yes, I will look for that approval. If I'm not finding it here, as a human being, I will find somewhere else where I think I am going to find it. Unashika. And that's why people get like a dopamine rush from likes. Because I dressed this way or I did this thing, and like I see 100 people with like the to love hearts. So I feel, you know, but you know why I'll do it again tomorrow and keep looking for approval? Because it does not feel the same as somebody who's in my space present like this, being like, you know, I admire the way you dress.
Wow.
You know,
that's powerful.
Those two things are different. They look similar,
but they are not.
You know, and I think once you stop chasing what is like trying to prevent the wrong, and focus towards like going on like what does this person need, and
what matters, I think,
provide it for them. You know, the same way you understand that your child needs food.
True. And you provide.
And you will go to the ends of the world to provide food for them.
True.
You know that your partner needs ... and you will go to the ends of the world to provide for them. So I think understanding the human needs beyond the physical needs of food, clothing, and shelter that we have as human beings, and trying to provide it for them, because the world is changing very quickly. You know, the more the digital world changes, the more insecure you get, and the more so many things are changing. You know, you want to catch up with like we're living. Kitambo, like people could be experts, you know, like because there was like I could be an expert in a room of 20 people, but right now everybody has access to about 1,000 people. So chances are, if you're an expert, there's like 10 more experts out there.
I know.
So like it's a
and the ways of making those experts is 1,000,001.
Exactly.
So we have the school of YouTube. World. I know.
That's how I would put it. It's a very noisy world, and the thing about being in a noisy world, it's so confusing. If it's confusing for us adults, like it's very confusing for us. Sindio? Now imagine a 14-year-old who has not understood the nuances of life. It's just as confusing for them, you know. So I think that one, being very intentional about connecting with them so that you understand their needs. You understand when they're looking for advice. You understand when they are feeling lost. You understand when they're heartbroken. You understand when they are, because you know it's a dynamic thing. You can't even name the needs, all of them, you know. But you know, maybe your child is heartbroken by something, and you know, heartbreak is not even just relationships. Even you can break the heart of
I know.
They can be heartbroken by their friends.
True.
They can be heartbroken by their brothers and sisters, and fathers and mothers. You know. So I think that you understand that, oh, when my child is heartbroken, what they need is a hug.
Then you just hug them.
And you take time out of it to just hug, you know. And I think this, it's not even just for parents and children. I think this just extends beyond in life, you know. Like trying to connect with each other from that space. Or, you know, when you try and understand your friends, you try and understand your brothers and sisters and what they need, and try to connect with them on that level. And then I think they can learn how to have a healthy relationship with social media, because it's also understanding the battles that you'll never win. Is there a world where people will not use social media? No.
Actually, I'm even wondering 3 years to come, what is going to be there? Now there's TikTok that is blowing, and I don't know.
And then also just like in Inishwaje, kukua very aware of the habits that you build. Because say unaona like mtoi analia, then like a parent just shoves cocomelon on their face. You know, it solves the problem for a minute at that point, you know. But the other thing is, I feel like you're teaching this child like, this is a solution when you have emotional issues. You know, just run. Just find something to distract you. And,
oh my God. Then it will go. But I feel like they that's like an escape whereby you don't want to get to what is happening to understand.
Not always, but there's situations like that where this child has a need, and even as and you find it, you know, even we do it. You know, it's easy to say hivyo ya mtoto, but even us we do it. There's sometimes you're heartbroken and you're like Netflix, and then you just watch something for like 15 hours straight. You know? Instead of like,
I feel like it is us blocking our mind. Like, I don't want you to think. I don't want even the call. Unajipatanga mpaka simu unaweza iweka flight mode. I just want to concentrate on.
Yeah, and I think also, unajiweka
escape.
Uko Instagram 16 hours, you know. But I think also, okay, so one, you're just being intentional about how you connect.
Yeah.
Number two, teaching balance.
Okay.
You know, because social media, it's not the only source of entertainment or information or things like that.
True.
You know, or inspiration. Like, yes, you can find inspiration. Come at this course that we are doing. It was advertised on social media.
Yes,
so social media is not bad.
It is not. But it's a choice of how you want to use it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you're like, okay, sometimes read a book.
I know.
You know, sometimes go out and watch a movie. Go out and watch a play. Go out and play football. Go out and play a volleyball.
Just get out of your space.
Get
out of your normal daily Monday to Friday routines.
Yeah, so go out to a national park and watch some lions just chilling, you know, like, you know, see a gazelle like trying to just eat grass, and suddenly Gafla Binvu, a lion shows up and its life is threatened, and you know, it has to run. It has to run. Some of those things, like that can balance. I think it helps, like, create that stability for someone.
Okay.
And So to finish that, I don't know that I have advice,
but at least they have had.
But I think that when you're intentional about connecting with your child, understand that when they're going to social media, there is a need.
They are going to.
There's something they're solving by going to that social media.
But
badala kumwambia usiende social media, understand what they are going to look for there, and try to provide that.
Right.
And then by default, it like they will either have a healthier relationship with social media, because I've seen it. There's like you have like because I run club sessions at schools as well. Okay. So sometimes like you've taught, tell me we are making a short film for drama festival, you know, and you've put a kid behind the camera, and they figure out how to get a good shot. Alafu nione, and I'm genuinely impressed. I'm like, yo, this is a nice shot.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that kid, the next time kuna hiyo class ya photography, ati ilikuwa ianze 3:10.
Atakuwa hapo
3:05, hiyo bell ijaring, amefika hapo. Anataka yeye ndiye anze
kushutakiwa wa kwanza ni atakuwa hapo behind.
And they want to tell the other people as well, like, let's be here on time, let's not do this. So then the thing is, that one compliment has made this child a leader.
Yeah. True.
You know?
I know.
And I think for me, these are such beautiful moments that when I get to watch when working with like teenagers, I think they're really misunderstood. They're a misunderstood group, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know, like they can be harsh. I'm not saying they're angels. They can be very harsh and very difficult to understand.
Yeah.
To be fair, the way I'm saying, me, I'm a certified auntie. I don't spend like their problems are only my problems for like a solid 3 hours a day.
Then you are off.
Exactly. And
you take your leave.
And as a parent, their problems are your problems.
Full time.
Full time, yes, full time. You can have a
even if they go for holidays, trust me, they are ever on call.
Exactly.
There is no taking leave on that one.
Yeah. So I think there's like a difference there. But the way I interact with them, I think when you understand that they are, because you know a child, akiwa mdogo kabisa, they don't think about their life. Their life is your problem. And they're very aware of that.
I know.
You know. Then when they become teenagers, they are in between.
It's partly.
You know.
Yeah.
They are feeling a need to start understanding themselves and how to solve their own problems. And then they realize it is difficult and they want to bring their problems to you. But then also they don't want your help. But then
they want to show you they can do it.
You know. And I think it is as confusing for them as it is for parents. And I think for us looking from the outside, you know, as someone who like entertains them, you kind of see it and you see these two people are both equally frustrated by this situation. And I think that's why like the stories become a very good connecting part. Because for us, we have for me as a storyteller, I have the privilege of seeing from a bird's eye view on both sides.
Okay.
You know, I can see like this is why you as a parent you're frustrated, and this is why this child is frustrated. Now, if I tell you the story of, you know, Kiari and his father, you guys are not looking at it as you're looking at it as Kiari. So you're like, you know, this my child, this one is a difficult one. But if they're anything like Kiari, I think they're a nice kid, they're just having a hard time, you know. And the kid also is like, you know, Kiari's dad is not a terrible person. I think my mom is anything like Kiari's dad. You know, Ryan, you know. True. So yeah, I think on the plus side, there is that benefit of storytelling, but then also, I won't lie, it's just fun.
I can see.
It's fun.
For the week I've interacted with you, I can tell you it is amazing. My other question would be, I want us to talk about your programs that you have in schools, because I can see time is not on our end.
Yeah.
We wanted you to tell us. I'm sure part of my viewers have teachers. They would want you to be in their school. We have people that own schools upcoming. I have friends that I have made through this space. And I would want you like to speak to them, because I think I feel like whatever you're doing is beautiful. It's bringing a connection, and particularly there's a discussion we had with you about the bullies and how you've been able to like teach children how like not to bully one another through your custom made characters of the stories that you made. And I think there is a certain peaceful integration that your stories are bringing to not only schools, but the children are again taking that to home. So it becomes even easy for them to read it. So please, you can kindly enlighten us about the programs, how you go about them, so that you never know. You might get a client amongst our viewers, and it will be my joy.
Hopefully.
Kama unataka kukaa tu Nairobi, unaweza kuwa utaki nini, watu wa Kibera wanataka kwenda hapa Nairobi region only.
Hapa Embu tu.
Sema tu hapa tu Embu. Unajua Embu is the canon of this country.
No,
Have you ever been to Embu before?
Many times.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Many times.
Where did you go?
I have been to Mwea. I have been to
Mwea is not in Embu.
I have been to Kerugoya.
Okay, Kerugoya is not in Embu, Jesus.
I know, no, but anasema like I've been to Embu town.
Okay.
Kabisa, but I'm like around Embu County.
You have been there.
Around as well. I have been to Meru. I have Maua, Uko.
You're not talking about Embu. Please, our viewers, help me tell this young lady. She's talking about Mount Kenya.
Yes.
Meru is in Mount Kenya. Mwea is in Mount Kenya. Kirugoya is in Mount Kenya. Go on.
Okay, so
I'll take you to Embu one day and make you like acquainted with the area, so that next time unaita tunaelewa Runyenjes, Manyata, Kiretire, Shiakago. You see? Now that is what we're talking about, our county.
I don't remember the specifics.
Please tell us about your program.
Out of Nairobi, but Kenya nimetembea quite a few places.
Watoto wa Nairobi. We don't blame you.
Nimetembea.
No problem.
Anyway, so I have a variety of programs.
That's okay. Please.
So, with schools, for one, the easiest is the reading communities. So every week, I tell stories, so narration of stories, and we make like illustrations, like drawings that, you know, kids can color and whatever. And so this recorded version, like schools have 2 WhatsApp groups. So now, like you as a teacher can share with parents on the WhatsApp group, so the parents can and it's a zile announcement communities society. Utakuwa unapata notifications with comments from other parents. So it's just like, you know, once a week you get like a story or on your WhatsApp, and you can watch it with your kid. And so it's both written and performed. So if you choose that you want to read it for your kid by yourself, you download it, you print it, you read for your kid, and you have fun with it. If you want to watch it with them as I narrate, and then you can do that. So it's a nice moment of interaction. So every week you get an original story and 2 or 3 illustrations depending on the week that you can print, and then your child can draw. Yeah, and then so these illustrations are usually from the stories. So if, for example, one of my stories is Kadzo and her flute, so yeah, the illustrations are from the story of Kadzo and her flute. So then you hear the story of Kadzo and how her flute, helped her express herself, and then you download it, you print, and the kids kind of. So like a free storybook kind of. Yeah, every week a short story book. So that's actually one of the easiest way to interact with my product. So that one is just if you're a teacher and you reach out, so we can talk about how to organize that with your group of parents that you want to share this with, or if you're a school and you want this for your school, then we can chat how to do it. And as I told you, there's like I do the stories for different to age groups. The second thing that I do is, of course, these storytelling sessions. I have some live storytelling sessions at schools. So I can come to your school and you can have like a day of fun. We tell stories, we paint, we draw, and I have a small crew of people, and we can come together and have fun activities still around very inspiring stories. And again, my stories are very centered on African Kenyan experiences and to kind of paint a positive picture, or a complete picture of like the beauty of being a Kenyan and being an African, and the hope that lays in that. The live storytelling sessions, and so the school clubs. I also run photography clubs in schools. So siku hizi kuna ile drama festival and film festival. So the films, we make like films in collaboration with schools. Then you wanapeleka film fest, and sometimes like we have like a movie day from the films that we've created. So then like the cast comes and stands in front of the parade as people watch their 10-minute movie that they have made, and a lot of those again are based around values and stuff like that. So it kind of helps kids discover their talents. Like, I do like acting. I do like being like taking pictures and doing all these things, and maybe I can become an artist when I grow up. Stuff like that, and also just helping them express themselves, learn how to express themselves. And with this as well, once we have done this thing, I haven't perfected it yet, maybe it's something that will grow with time, is art for therapy. So kind of like we've had sessions where like we're using dance to help kids deal with fear. We're using drawing to help kids express their feelings. So there's such classes that we do with schools. And then the other thing is also we do, should I call them workshops on projects? Like now the one that I was telling you about. So a school approached me and they were having difficulties with their students around discrimination. So it was a school that had students from very wealthy backgrounds and kids from not so wealthy backgrounds, and also skin color difference and things like that. And they were feeling like they're like beyond the class, they could see how the kids treated themselves and how like they were adapting this culture of cool kids, and cool kids could bully the other kids. And we were having a conversation with the teacher, and I was talking to her about how storytelling and casting kids in different parts of that story can help them relate. So for example, when I am, let's say I'm a slim person, and me, I have been raised to feel like being slim is it. Being fat means you're ugly. Being this means you're ugly. Then you cast me as the ugly one in the movie, then I get to relate with the emotions that the other person feels when people point out things about themselves that they're insecure about, and it kind of creates a culture of passion. And also kind of like discrimination can sound like a big word, especially for example when you're speaking to young kids. Like discrimination is a big word. So then when you talk about like when somebody says this, I feel sad. When somebody says this, I feel so now for example that Kadzo, the book I'm talking about, Kadzo and her flute, was about discrimination. Kadzo alikuwa ametoka ushago anakuja shule ya Nairobi, so her English was not up to
That good.
you know, so people kept laughing at her every time she spoke, and she wanted to sing, and she wanted to be, you know, she imagined school would be awesome.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she gets
yeah,
to
yeah,
school, and because of her words, everyone is now just like, you're stupid, you're this, you're that. And you know, the kids kind of going on an emotional journey with Kadzo and starting to understand that, oh, yeah, me laughing at you when you speak makes you feel really bad.
Yeah.
See, I can relate to feeling bad, so it makes me, yeah. So we have such designed like workshops or projects with schools where the school is like, this is what we need to talk to our kids about.
Yeah.
We just had a workshop on gender. So sometimes like the school wants femicide is something that kids are seeing on TV together with us, you know, and they have questions, and this can be such a complicated topic to discuss, you know. But then the thing is, when you don't discuss these things with kids, they run to their own conclusions anyway. You know, so they will take the opinion of whoever is the loudest, or you know, so they will look at somebody who wears a suit and say, women are the reason for this femicide. But they're like, you know, this guy, he looks like someone I would like to be. So I agree with his opinion. These women have to be, you know. So there's the thing, you have to engage like young people, especially teenagers, in conversation constantly. Otherwise, you run the risk of them adapting their opinions from people who have no business sharing their opinions.
And allowing them the opinions to shape their lives.
Exactly. Yeah. So now there are schools that will be like, okay, we want to talk to our kids about gender or femicide or whatever, or mental health, or you know, so things like that. But we do not want to make it feel like a class. We don't want the teachers to be the ones talking to them about it. We want somebody else to talk to them about it. And the best way to do that is storytelling. You know, whether it is us telling the stories, whether it is us performing the stories. But my favorite way is including the kids in the storytelling. So I'm not, I will perform for them and we'll have fun and entertain them, but have sessions where the kids themselves are included in the storytelling, and it really shapes their mind in a way that is memorable, because they forget the lessons, but they don't forget the characters and what they felt. The same way we are told, like, you will forget what somebody did, what somebody says, but you will never forget how
they made you feel.
So that's the thing. You can say discrimination is wrong because and give them a whole ChatGPT lecture that you downloaded, you know, and they will forget about it, you know. But then the thing is, when they remember that this character felt so sad that they went into depression because of a word somebody says, that's something they won't forget. And it will help them govern the words that they use. You know, when they say that this person was murdered because of her gender, or this person was persecuted because of his gender, and because of, you know, and he was limited from this. See, they will forget the details about these other things, but the feelings that these characters felt, that is something that they will always remember. So we do that with schools when they have a very specific topic that they want to share.
You make stories to fit that particular.
Exactly. So I get into that space, and we discuss and we talk about every single thing that they want to tell their students, and now we go into the writer's room and we write and we create and we have fun. Yes. And then last but not least, I just published a book.
Wow, congratulations. Oh my God, that is nice. Where is it, Jesus?
We will attach it to the screen.
Please do. We will appreciate.
And with more information about how you can get it.
Are you doing a book launch?
I think a school tour.
School tour. Wow.
Yes. Okay. So actually, if there is some principals or like some teachers who are watching this, yes, we can come and share this very, very awesome story with you. If you reach out, I'll give you a lot more information about it. Yeah, so we can come to your school and have like a cool afternoon of fun.
I know.
And have some copies.
You're making me feel like I want to shift my job. my job is.
I know. And it's an activity book, so it's not just reading. They get to read and color and draw and play.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, because I'm like, you play games around, and so we designed some games around the characters as well. So yeah, the kids really have fun with the books. They don't read it once because kwanza utaisoma for the story, the second one you're going there for the colors, the third one you're going there for the games, the fourth one you're going there for all sorts of things. Yeah, and it's highlighting African legends. So for this one we started with Lwanda Magere, Koitalel and Mekatilili, but it's a continuing series. We're going to go to every single tribe and talk about their heroes. Tutaenda kwa Wakamba tuongee Syokimau. Tutaenda kwa, I don't know if it is Embu or Mbere. Who was Siruma? Siruma was from Embu.
Okay, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I think there's someone. I actually told someone that I have been connected to someone that I'm supposed to give a call and have a sitting with. I need to understand. I am sorry.
Yes,
I am not.
Yes, but Siruma the warrior, a very amazing story. I think it's from the Embu community.
That name sounds more like a Nembo.
Yeah. She was an amazing warrior.
Siruma okay, sawa.
I hope I am pronouncing it right.
I don't think you are. I don't think you are. It is Sieroma, but that is now the Embu.
Sasa hiyo siwezi jua unless mtu aniambie vizuri. I know how to write it. Sieroma.
Now you got it right. Now, as we finish our show today, what are some of the challenges? You grew up in the slums, Kibra.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges that you go through in trying to bring this new light to the kids' life? I know you have worked with several organizations, with institutions. What are some of the challenges and what keeps you grounded to your passion?
Yeah.
Because I've gotten time to interact with you and you're so much passionate about what you do, and you're making me miss the days I used to be a Sunday school teacher. Nowadays, I don't know.
Yes, we can do a collab for Christian books for kids.
I would love to. Yes. I would love to. So, what has been some of the challenges that you'd say? This is what has been making it hard for me to navigate here and there.
Yeah.
And what holds? What do you hold on to?
Challenges are many. Tukianza kuzihesabu.
Give us a few as we come to the end.
I think one, just running a business is difficult.
True.
For sure. It's difficult. It takes time to understand how it works. It can be very draining. It can be very demoralizing. I think that has been a really big challenge. Two, as you can see, like this is not a field that has been highly explored by very many people. And so it is not something that people understand. And it's hard to get people to collaborate with you fruitfully and pay for your services and stuff like that when it's a new field. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm clearly doing it, so it's possible. But it has been challenging in that way. And I think also just even me encouraging myself to just find parts where parts don't exist. It's not the easiest. It's challenging. I think also challenging perspectives. I think in form of sometimes when you talk about some like a theme of a story, people will have very strong opinions like, oh no, but yes, Europe is better than Africa, and you're like, well, that's your opinion. And Mimi, the way I see it, I want African kids to be proud of their African heritage. And the good thing is we don't market to kids, we market to parents and teachers.
True.
So if you as a parent, you feel like, I want my kids to aspire to Europe, it's fine. You just download Snow White and read for them and do you. So I think there are people who have very strong opinions and they do not particularly appreciate change and stuff like that. The challenges are many. Getting clients is now I feel like I have gotten a flow. But 2 years ago, which is when I quit work to do it, because these are things I did while I was working, so I was doing it on my free time, and then at some point I was like, let me take a break from work and actually explore this. If it fails, tutakunja mukia vizuri turudi project management. I still have those 8 years experience in project management. Hazijarabiwa bado ziko.
But you'll have to explain this gap here. What have you been doing with your life?
I know, and as it was my right to explain. But, yeah, so I think
It is allowed.
Yes, just growth in itself is challenging.
Yeah,
but
I know.
what keeps me grounded? One, kids themselves will keep you grounded.
True.
You know? Let me tell you,
I know.
as much as kids can be tough to work with, hauwezi kasirika kufanya kazi na watu.
That's true.
Utacheka, you know. And I think that also writing and just being creative for me is such a fun thing because like I am 100% myself when I am, you know, when I am
within your element.
When I am writing, like unaandika hadi una imagine character mpaka unamuona, it brings such joy, you know. So and I think that's the same joy that people feel when they read. When they read the book, you know. So yeah, I think one, it makes me happy. Two, children are just really fun to work with. And of course, the success stories.
Yeah,
like what I was telling you, like the who am I, and one of the people and some of the people we were teaching photography.
Yeah,
one just joined university this year to study communication. And
wow,
you know, congratulations. Like to be able to mentor someone. I know that it's their success and they worked hard and whatever.
I know.
But to know that I played like a small role in just tilting them to a certain direction, helping them get school fees and, you know, pushing them towards like their dream. Like they called me and they were so happy about being called to this university. And it gave me a lot of happiness, you know? And it reassures me that even on those days that it doesn't feel worthy, on those days that like things just don't fall in place because those are normal, the results for me, unfortunately, there's a lot of the results of my work, I will never see them immediately. I will see them
to take time
4 or 5 years after. So yeah, I usually that keeps me very grounded. Just, I don't know, the fact that I've been blessed to live a life of exploration, I think is in itself. I don't forget the fact that it's a blessing. I don't take it for granted that not everybody has that opportunity to live that life where they are doing what they really want to do. I agree with you. A lot of people are stuck in places whereby every day they wake up, they're like, God, I wish I don't have to go. But at the moment, this is what they got. That is what they got. So they have like buckle up and just show up. Yeah. So and it is a blessing. It's really a blessing to be at a place where like umefanya kazi for so long, akili na roho inataka kuendelea, lakini mwili ndio inakuambia usimame ama nisimame. I know. You know, so I think that's a blessing to be on a place in it's not the opposite where like umelala weekend yote, like your body is as physically rested as it could be, but on Monday morning you feel tired. You're so tired. Again, have to go back there. You know? So I think I don't take that for granted at all. Okay. What would be your advice for anybody that wants to start a career in photography, storytelling, in line with what you do, mentoring the teens? Basically, I think photography and storytelling is what are your majors, right? Yes. What would be your advice to someone who wants to get into that field? Then with that, you can together you can tell us where our audience can find you, or your social media handles. You can also share your contact in case there is someone out there who would wish like to reach out, like render you to render your services to them. Yes. So if you want to get into a field, and this I guess applies to any field really, is one, where the people in that field find them, be in their space. So if you want to be a photographer, find a photographer that you admire. And you'll be surprised, these people are in your circle, you know, whether it is a friend of a friend or, you know, like talk to your parents, your aunties, your teachers. They probably know somebody who's practicing that art or that skill that you want to be. Go be an intern there. See what it looks like, you know. Talk to them about their experiences, you know, because it helps you paint a picture. Because then the thing is, nobody, like whatever career you're in, hakuna straight line. Sindio?
Yeah. True.
There are challenges and there are highs. You know? So then if you look at it from afar, without the human interaction or perspective,
Yeah.
hapo ndio unapatanga watu wanasema medicine inalipa, acting inalipa.
I know.
Ama mtu anakuambia ati hii job hata utakufa na depression. Ama that can be true for everything and it can be false
For everything at the same time.
Exactly. And it really makes you limit yourself when you look at it from that perspective.
Okay.
But being around people, for me, it really helped me. It creates a picture. You know, there's this video that I watched at that time when I was jumping into business.
Yeah.
And this person was a motivational speaker, and you know, he told everyone to close their eyes and imagine a lemon.
Okay.
That they have a slice of a lemon, and then he told them, imagine taking like a huge bite of that lemon. And what happened was everybody in the crowd just
the face. I know.
You know, despite the fact that
their face, they did not have
a lemon. You know, there was not a single lemon in the room. But every single person in the room could taste that lemon.
They visualized it and
exactly. So then it's like the mind does not know what is true and what is not.
That is true.
You know, if you can imagine it properly, you can bring it to life.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So if you want to be a writer, if you want to be an innovator, if you want to be a tech engineer, whatever it is that you want to be, if you can imagine it properly in your head, believe me, you will be surprised the magic that that you can create as a human being.
Yeah.
You know. And so the thing is, when you relate with people, they help you imagine. So for example, if you want to be a podcaster, and you hang out with 5 to 10 podcasters who all share their journey, you start to imagine your own journey, what it would look like as a podcaster. And when it's very clear in your mind, you start to move in that direction. You start to understand. And mimi, if I share my journey as a photographer, I'll tell you, nililana hapa, alafu ikakuwa hivi, alafu ikakuwa hivi, alafu ikakuwa hivi. What you get from that is you're crafting your own path. You're like, then I went and took a degree. Okay, then that is the direction I'm going. Or then I didn't have a degree in photography. She said Gumbaru school is the way to go. Even me, I will go Gumbaru school, you know. Because somebody will tell you they learned photography from ADMI and took a course there.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very free shout out to ADMI. And somebody else will tell you that they were interns or they were working at a photography agency. And they just
that is how they learned. Yeah.
You know, there are people who've learned photography from Skillshare.
True.
There are people who've become like stars na walikuwa watu wa mkono wenye wanasupply chakula kwa film set. You know. So when you get all these journeys, you will start to craft your own. Unajiambia, mimi mali nimefika, I am 27, sioni nikiingia fresha tena. Kidogo ni ngumu. But I know this person has a film set. Wacha niende nikuwe mtu wa mkono kwa hiyo film set yake.
Just a matter of time.
You know, and then slowly by slowly I start to ask these people, haya, na naona ukifanya hivi light inasonga, unafanya nini?
I know.
Unafanya nini? Where did you learn photography? Unaanza kujua makona. You know, so that is one way of learning. It takes longer, but it's a way of learning.
True.
That's if you want to be an entrepreneur, that's because honestly, in it wajata mimi entrepreneurship and setting up a business, it is all Gumbaru school. You know?
I know.
Because for example, you're just like, I went here, somebody told me about Sandbox, which is a community of experts who help entrepreneurs. I went there and had a conversation with somebody, and you know, this would be nice, blah blah blah. A year went by, I wasn't sure how exactly to engage anyone from there. Kidogo, they have a call out to help women entrepreneurs. I applied, then you understand, so this is how a business is set. This is how a business does strategy. This is how you understand the value you're giving. Okay, then you do that course, and then the next course comes, and then you're like, somebody's, you understand, kuna course ka financial literacy. Watch at the end, and then you realize, hey, I've earned this much money in life and just lost it on nothing. You know, or you're like, okay, fine, you know, and you just grow like that. So whatever you want to become, or whatever you want to get into, become it.
Okay.
And you become it by interacting with people who are already doing it. Yes, so
that's powerful.
Yeah, and I mean, I say that knowing that, yeah, be careful who you let into your space.
I know.
On the mental health.
I know.
But generally, people are good out here, and
Okay.
people. Me, I'm talking because my hand has been held. I will not lie.
Wow.
You know, my hand.
It's not so many people that will come out and say that.
Yeah, my hand has been held by so many people who've taught me so many different things, you know, and that knowledge is what has helped me maneuver through life
up to this point.
So that's the advice I would say. Okay. Look for someone who can help you imagine what it is that you want to become, and understand their path, and understand the path of 4 or 5 other people who have gone that direction.
Yeah.
And then you will form your own path, and then just believe in yourself. Acha nikwambie hata watu wenye wako na PhD huku nje ni kujiamini, wanajiamini. Ni kujiamini tu. Hakuna difference by the way. Mtu mwenye ametoka class 8 na mtu mwenye ako na PhD. I know, but half the time you do the things you do because unajiamini.
True. Yes. I agree with you.
Understand the paths. Yeah. Create your own path.
Visualize it.
Alafu jiamini. Makosa zikikuja mbele hapo, you learn how kuzitatua. As long as you don't walk alone.
I know.
You know, don't walk alone. Enjoy the value of community. Okay. Lean on your friends for support. Lean on your family for support. You know, and you know, because everyone and like don't idealize a support system through this journey. For some people, their support system is their family. For some people, they come from families that are a bit So usiende force sister yako kwa support system na ajue kwa support system. Uko support me and they don't know how to support.
You don't even know they understand what you want to do.
For some people, the support system is friends. For some people, the support system is
God. Some is totally God.
Usiende ukaforce watu kuwa mentor wako. Ati mimi nimeona hapa nje watu wanasema wako na mentor. My dear, be my mentor, Terry. You know, be my mentor. And Terry is like, I have a kid and a job. I don't have time to mentor. You know, so don't idealize a support system, but create a support system that works for you and lean on them.
But I also hope that if someone comes to you and asks, like, I need your help to do something, we should be willing to support one another because it makes life easier for all of us. We should stop wanting to live like a one-man. What is it called? One-man show. Come on, this life is so beautiful and the space is so big. Like for all of us, we can do something. So kindly share with us your social media handles, share your phone numbers.
Yes.
Let us know. In case I want you to come to my school, where should I send the email?
Yes.
And so Ama, you are the kind that don't respond to emails.
I do.
After a month.
Wewe government ya Ruto unaweza kosa kurespond email ya biashara kweli?
Share your social media handles and your contact as we come to the
kata ku reply email na KRA. Wanangoja uwafanyie mchango. Wanangoja wafanyie mchango Ruto atafute wengi. Anyway, if you're a Ruto fan, no beef.
We apologize.
Like kidogo tu. I apologize to you, not him. Anyway, what are we talking about? How to reach me?
Yes.
My company is called Aguyo Creatives. So you can reach me at aguyocreatives@gmail.com. I will write it on the screen. aguyocreatives@gmail.com. And it all my social media channels, that is Instagram, from tomorrow TikTok.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
So Instagram and TikTok you can find, and YouTube you can find Aguyo Creatives. And my business number is 0713563152. Reach out.
Okay. Can you read the number again? Some of our audience are slower.
0713563152.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're single, dating, taken?
I am
closing remarks. I know this one has caught you off guard.
I know. I am currently single on a short break of dating. just like a short break because I'm just out of a relationship, so I want to have a moment to heal.
So anybody that can be able to do good shots, they are welcome. Hizi break unasikianga watu wakijifanya wako kwa break, hazikuangi break, ni mtu hajapata.
Ni mtu tu sijapata. Okay. So I wanted to mention something.
Yeah.
My tagline at Aguyo is embrace your butterfly moment.
Oh my God, that is beautiful.
Thank you. Because Aguyo is butterfly in Luo. I'm Luo.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so it's embrace your butterfly moment. Like, you know, the way a butterfly metamorphosizes.
Yeah, I know. Englishing, fine. We don't
from a caterpillar to a butterfly.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the biggest, our driving force is that if our stories can help somebody have a butterfly moment. You know, that if our stories can help you become something, and discover a different part of yourself, feel better,
metamorphosize to something else,
you know, so embracing your butterfly moment, and if our workshops can help you embrace your butterfly moments, then come on,
so I've just
your creatives.
So I've just remembered that most of the times that we forget to appreciate people that have walked a journey with us.
Yeah.
And I have a tendency in this channel of asking people to appreciate people that have walked a journey with them. Mm-hmm. So in 3 seconds, I want you to appreciate people that have touched your lives.
Me, I've told you they are mean.
I know. I don't know which criteria you're going to use. Just mention them, appreciate them. Then we come to the end of the show with our beautiful viewers that God has given us.
Yeah. I think, I mean, unfortunately, my parents have passed on.
Yeah.
But my mom played a huge role in helping me understand that I am unlimited in life. You know, that thing where they say that the world is your oyster, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
My mom really helped me understand that by who she was, you know, and I appreciate her for that, even though she's no longer with us. There's a lady called Romana. I don't know if I should say her name publicly.
You are allowed to. I don't know.
I think I don't know if she enjoys publicity or not. But
you know her better than us.
I apologize. Okay. I won't say where she's from, so people don't go looking for her. Okay. But this lady was the head of an organization that paid my school fees. Because my mom could not afford to take me to high school. It was too expensive at that point. And, you know, this lady not only ensured that I went to high school, she ensured that I went to a good high school at home. And I lacked for absolutely nothing. You know? She, like, I had all my school fees paid. I had books, exercise, and textbooks. And I remember even the shopping ya kuingia Form 1. Down right to the bra, this lady ensured that I had, you know.
That's beautiful.
I think in Itoaje, especially the way that's a whole long story for another day, but the way it happened, I don't know, because you know, when I was growing up around that time, in Kibera, it was not unusual for people to drop out of school at class 8.
Yeah, I know.
So me, I got a calling letter from State House. Me nikaona your school fees yenyewe tuishafika 65,000. This was 2000.
Where were you in high school? I think she should come back and give us her story.
I was a State House girl.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So this is 2005. And the school fees was 65,000 for the year.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hujanunua kitabu, hujafanya kitu yote. Hiyo ni school fees peke yake. Hujanunua hata uniform. Yes, the shopping itself, I think, like the shopping that I needed to get into school was 100 and it was like 60,000-70,000. So I think the total was coming to 100 and something thousand. And imagine, like you're coming from Kibera. My mom at the time alikuwa anafanya biashara ya kuuza chakula kwa soko Toi, which I was a proud waiter for her during that moment, kupika na kusavu watu Toi markets, you know. So hey, you see 120,000. You have never even seen 5,000 in your life. No. So you see 120,000.
I know.
There's no way, like I didn't even dare myself to imagine this being a possibility.
I think we have the same. We have the same experience of getting to high school, because I remember I got my letter to a provincial school, and I'm like, okay,
like who can give up? You're like,
I was like, I did not like, I could not even have been offended, but I'll give my story one day, because my mother looked at the letter and she was like,
Yeah.
You're going. I looked at her, I'm like, seems like you did not see the figures that are there.
Yeah.
You
Ni kama haukuona.
Yeah, I know.
So me, I saw this, nikaangalia, and what I did was, I was like, okay, so the next best hope is at least getting any school. Hata kama ni day school tu hapo. But I already knew that there's a high chance me I'm not going to high school, you know. And then for this woman to listen to us and to figure out a way within the organization that I was actually able to go to the school that I wanted to go to, that I applied to, and that I was called to, and you know, and that I had support all through those 4 years, and I never lacked for, like, okay, hakunipea pocket money, so nisema I never lacked for anything, si ati nilikuwa babi, but but like, you know, she basics. And that is where, if I'm being honest, my mind opened up to the world. You know, because now nimetoka like Kibera, most of the people like wanauza nyanya, like odd jobs, kosha nguo nini, and suddenly you're in the same class, mtu ana introduce babake ni manager wa Kenya Airways, uko like, excuse me, pardon. So these are not just characters that are there on TV, they are actual real people. Wanakuja visiting them, unawaona uko like, haya, unafeel kama umeenda like Nakuru National Park, but for humans, you know. That's a whole story for another day. Me, I'm a storyteller. If you let me tell stories, that is, please, you need to come and okay. Yes, we shall appreciate Romana. She played a huge role in making me who I am, and of course, I can't forget like my family, my sisters and my brother. Yeah, they have stood with me through so many things in life. Yeah. So, all right. But as I told you, wait, that list of people who held my hand. All right,
I want to think that this has been the most amazing conversation we have ever had, and I know we are going to have her back.
Yes.
Now telling her story. Sorry, because again, all the conversations that we have had, I didn't know you were born and raised in Kibra. So you need to come back.
Kibera, but I was raised in Kibra.
You were raised in. Now you're going to come back and share your code.
Anyway,
you're gonna come back and share your journey with us. I hope you didn't mind, but we are so happy to have you on board. Thank you so much for agreeing to come, and I hope that out of this, as you share whatever you are doing, I am so much amazed by how passionate you are, and I pray that God will open more doors for you.
Amen.
And favor anybody that will watch this. I know we are going to attach more of her work, her photography, storytelling. We're going to have books, and I think there is an event, a school tour or something, and her book also will be attached to this. So please, if there is any other way that you think this lady can impact your children, I know there are people that watch my videos, they have schools. I know there are people that watch my videos, they have sessions with children and all that, and I believe she can be of great help. So don't hesitate to get in touch with her, and I'm sure we can be able to work something out. Thank you so much for watching the show today. I'm your host, Terisami. It's always a pleasure to sit down and inspire your lives. At Inclusive Reflections, we normally say, inspiring one life at a time. And we said, as long as we are alive, we are going to learn and relearn.
Amen.
I hope out of this session, you have a take home.
Yes.
So until next time, thank you. May God bless you and He keep you safe. Bye. Okay. Imeacha kurekod ama
bado ina record?